We're back! It's Monday, y'all. Sorry we're starting a little bit late. It's been the Monday-est of Mondays of Mondays. And we both zen, got it together. And here we are. You guys, welcome to the Melanated Way. I'm one of your hosts, Linda Antwi, and my favorite co-host, April Holloway. Holla!
Hello.
We are covering 90 Day Fiancé. It was actually not even 90 Day Fiancé. And trust me, there are a couple of these couples that shouldn't even be 90 Day Fiancé husband and wife, but I digress. 90 Day, The Last Resort, Season 2, Episode 4, The Last Word. April, overall thoughts?
I think that we need to have a long conversation about what it means to have an open relationship.
Agreed. Overall thoughts for me, a lot of these couples are in trouble. They are in trouble. And, I was thinking earlier, you guys, that, so, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm doing this. Well, you guys don't know because you don't know me. So I'm about to tell you. So I'm doing this fitness thing, right? So I've been like on this weight loss and fitness journey since last since last August. And part of that, April has like been taking a day where I just like fast and pray. Mm-hmm. And today happened to be that day. So rewatching, because I fast forwarded and watched the whole thing. Now I got to go back and watch and make sure I'm talking about the right episode. Long story short, today I was like, wow, I don't know if I'm like a psychic, but these people, like, I know what relationships are going to work. And last week I told you I missed my calling. I think I should have been a therapist because I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. Anyways, toxic. April, toxic. It was just toxic. Yeah. The whole episode, toxic, trauma, mean girl. I was like, oh Lord. Hi Becca. She says the best way to end a Monday
is I'm here for the catharsis too, Becca.
Facts. Mm-hmm. All right, so last week there was the fight in the bar, right? Natalie versus Jasmine. And one of the things that Natalie said was to Jasmine, you started this, you fix it. And then Natalie was like blaming her, right? But Jasmine's like, no, I was doing girl code. Did you think that was girl code, April? Or do you think she was just being a busybody?
I think it was a little bit of both because the way and the timing that she chose to say it was busybodying, but it needed to be said.
I mean, facts. Josh is problematic. Mm-hmm. And this episode really highlighted for me. Hey, Raydella. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Raydella.
This episode highlighted to me that guess what? You can be gaslighted to death. Really. And if you don't see it because you're so desperate to be loved, then that's part of the problem. I told you I had super clarity. April, this episode. Don't quote me for next week, but this episode, clarity. Mm-hmm, Josh, in my opinion, was gaslighting and said in his one-on-one with camera that, yes, he invited Sophie to Vegas, but it got blown out of proportion. And part of the reason that him and Natalie are there is because she explodes her rage, all of that stuff. And quote, this is the part that we want to break, end quote. Now, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think about it?
Well, I have a question about gaslighting first. Okay. So, because I don't understand it completely, right? So if a person sees a thing with their own eyes, not the hint of a thing, but they actually saw the thing, and then somebody tells you that what you saw isn't true, is that just lying? Is that, because I thought gaslighting would be more like you see a hint of a thing, so you're making an assumption and the person convinces you that your assumption is not true. But in this instance, Natalie saw the messages. which seemed to be very clear. Like they didn't show us the messages, but the messages seemed to be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's choosing to believe Josh lying about it, as opposed to if Sophie just said to her, yeah, he was flirting with me yesterday over by the bar. You didn't see it, So that's I mean, like, do you understand my question? I'm just not sure if it's gaslighting, if she actually saw it with her own eyes and then just chose not to believe what she saw.
Well, I think that part of gaslighting, and I could be wrong, you guys, live chat, replay, you guys let me know, but I think that part of gaslighting is the fact that you can see it for your own eyes, and then you can question the person that's gaslighting you, and then they're gonna romanticize it or downplay it, and then you're gonna then question yourself.
Okay.
The way I look at gaslighting is like this. I'm gassing you up. I'm gassing you up. I'm gassing you up. You're this big helium balloon, and then pop, I pop it. But then I'm like, I didn't pop your balloon. What are you talking about? I didn't actually even see a balloon. Did you have a balloon? What color was your balloon? Were you sure? When did you last see it? That to me is gaslighting. So
Okay. Got it.
Josh to be like, hey, I'm in a 3-year relationship with Natalie, and I've never invited her to my house. Yet when I was at my lowest time and going through family trauma, I reached out to her and she was there for me. The sex is great. So like, I'm going to go back for that because I want to hit it and quit it whenever I want, but I'm going to keep her close. So if that means I have to spend a little money, get her in her apartment, pay some of her bills, and I'm going to do that, because then she's going to think, because her love language is attention and tangible things, then she's going to be like, I'm there for her. And that to me is all gaslighting, because you know exactly what she wants, and you're only giving her a nibble of enough for her to stay on the line. You're going to gas her up with the things that she wants to hear, but you don't mean any of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
When he kisses her instead of answering her questions. Oh my God, Becca, I was so mad at that. I was so mad at that. So let's not address the issues. Let's just make it about intimacy, like sex. And I'm just going to shut her up. I'm going to kiss her, and that's going to shut her up. And guess what? It worked.
Yeah, that was
hated that
for the purpose of distracting her, for sure.
100%.
But
hi, Ties Way.
Hi, Ties Way. Back to the question that you asked, though. Last time I did feel more sympathetic to Natalie, but then I went back and watched the episode, and everything is laid out right in front of her. Nothing is hidden, and she's choosing to believe Josh's words, not his actions, not the things that she saw for herself, but she's choosing to believe his words. It's the lowest form of evidence. If you're looking at like going to court for something, the lowest form of evidence is somebody's words.
Facts.
Especially if it contradicts their actions.
But here's the thing, you guys, I feel like oftentimes, and we'll talk about this later in the episode as well, but oftentimes, because of society, especially like women, single women of a certain age, you think that you're supposed to be like settled down, married, have kids, whatever. And if those things don't happen in a time frame that society is saying it's supposed to happen, then a lot of women start to feel desperate, and they start to feel like time is running out for them, and that's how they get in toxic relationships. That's how they get in relationships too fast. That's how they settle, and that's how we see the Natalies, right? And she even said, I'm trying to find my notes, but she even said to Julia, and don't quote me until I get there, but she basically said, but you're married, what's going to happen to me? Right? So I was like, oh, so your self-worth is tied up with whether you have a man or not. And not only if you have a man or not, if you're married or not, which
absolutely,
I know a lot of people, myself included, grew up with that mentality. Like, your goal in life is to get married, have kids, to settle down, get married, have kids, 2.5, the house, the picket fence, and the perfect job. Like that is what girls are supposed to do. Thoughts, April, before I move on?
No, you're right. Linda's
right?
always
So,
right, you guys.
oh my God. I'm sorry. What did you say?
You have to clip that.
Yeah. So I need you to say it again, just in case I missed it on the clip. What did you
No,
say?
you're right.
That is not what you said. Can I get it verbatim?
In the situation concerning Natalie
Oh,
and
that
Josh,
again.
Linda is
No,
always
no precursor, because that is not what happened.
Linda's always right, you guys.
Okay, that part. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not always right, but I'll take it because none of y'all ever agree with me. You always agree with April.
No, well, today's the
Which I'm
day we
not
have to
mad at.
defer. We have to defer to Canada today.
Oh, Canada, our home and okay. Don't get me started.
Okay, I won't.
Bye, Canadian. Okay.
If
So,
anybody is close to Trudeau, just let him know. I ain't have nothing to do with it, okay? Keep sending me to Canada dry.
we
What am
digress.
I supposed to
Okay.
do? Drink Schweppes?
I mean, yeah. When they took all the US alcohol off the Canadian shelves, I was like, oh, they're not playing. Because, in Canada, you can't just go to like a 7-Eleven or I don't know, I don't know. Do you guys sell, I think you sell liquor at like.
In some states.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about the Bible Belt because I've been there, done that, and that was not fun for me. But like the 7-Elevens and like the corner stores and stuff like that, right? Like we have places that you have to purchase alcohol. Anyways, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay, yes.
I'm getting just distracted, but I'm back. So Natalie freaks out, right? And Julia comes over to help her. And Julia comes over, she starts talking, and here's another time where I thought about you, April, because it would really be great if they had more translators and were just more sensitive to understanding, because communication, right? I tell you guys, communication is key all the time. But when English is not your first language, and yes, you speak English, but it's still not your first language. When you're frustrated, when you're mad, when you're sad, when you're all the things, you revert back to your first language. And this is what happened with Natalie. So Julia comes out, talks to her, and Natalie is talking to her. And then, she starts speaking Russian because she's frustrated. She's like, I've been dating this guy for 3 years. He's never invited me anywhere. Like, what should I do? He invites this W word, and Julia is like, it's not about her, it's about your man. Like, you need to decide, do you want a man like this? Which is the second time I've heard a woman tell her. And you guys, here's a tip, okay? Dr. Linda is going to tell you that when your friends and your family don't like your partner, and it's like a consensus, it's your partner. It's not your friends. So this is the second time in 4 episodes that people are like telling her to her face, that dude is not into you, because you can't see what they can see because they're the outside people. So pay attention when your family is like, well, if you like it, I love it. That's not your dude. When your family says, I mean, as long as you're happy, that's not your dude. Okay. When your family and friends say to you, that guy's not into you, hear them. So Natalie goes on and says, and has like a whole full-on emotional breakdown. Julia's like, what do you want to do? She wants to leave. So she gets in the taxi, and this is where she's still having her breakdown. This is the quote that I was trying to tell you guys, that she goes on, at least you're married. What's going to happen to me? Right? So she's in her 30s. She's thinking it's getting too late for her. She's already been married 3 times, and it's not worked out for her. And so she's panicking now, right? So she's holding on. And this is part of what I think, April. I think she's holding on to this relationship because I feel like she thinks she's running out of time. And
Absolutely.
I do think that she thinks that Josh is a catch, that he can help her with her modeling career because he owns a modeling agency, that, you know, he has money because he owns a home. He comes from wherever, Arizona. I think he's in Arizona, between Arizona and California all the time. So in her mind, she's pictured him to be exactly what she's wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he's that thing. What do you think?
I think that he probably has more money than Mike, and that's her measurement right now. Like the lifestyle that he lives seems to be closer. Hey, Joslo.
Hey, Joslo. Hey, girl. Hey.
The lifestyle he's living seems to be closer to what she envisioned herself, as opposed to living in Sequim, Washington. But I definitely think that it's her age that is fueling her desire to continue this relationship, which is sad because if she had ended it, you know, a month into it when things were not going the way, she'd have these 3 years back. And we should do that more often. All of you guys, in the relationship faster. Walk away from the first date without benefit of the doubt. If you're already arguing over small things, you can't change him. Just give up. Move on to the next person.
Okay, Dr. April.
Just,
I mean, doctors in the house.
I did a little like what I would tell myself at 18 years old thing the other day. And one of the biggest ones was, how do I phrase this on YouTube? If he's arguing with you about whether or not to use a prophylactic, don't even have there's no discussion. Just walk away.
Again,
No
Dr.
discussion.
April.
More
Dr.
walking
April
away.
dropping facts. Fact after fact after fact.
Yeah. I get really excited when I see it happen. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry. I could go on forever about this.
Okay, question for you guys. Question for the live chat. Question for the replays. Here's our first question of the episode. Natalie rode back by herself because she was upset. Should Josh have ridden back with her? April.
Should Josh have ridden back with her? I'm going to say no. He needed time to get more of his lie together.
Oh. Hey, Jessica, I do not agree with April. I think that if you came together, you should leave together. I am still old school in the fact that, you know what, if that's your date should make sure that you get home or wherever you came from safely. And the fact that he's kicking it on some stupid rock, listening to Julia and not going back with the woman that you're supposedly 3 years deep into is not okay with me. You guys let me know.
I mean, he's not chivalrous.
Should Josh have ridden back in the taxi with Natalie? Let us know. That is the question. Hey, Christina. Hey, girl. Hey, can I tell you a funny story? And Christina, sorry, I love you. Christina's my girl. She's my day one ride or die. I need to tell you a funny story, April.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm ready.
You know, I'm Canadian. I'm very direct. I love my friends with a passion. She was telling me a story recently, and and it was in text, right? So I was like reading this text. I was like multitasking. I was working, you guys, and then I had to stop. The text was so like shocking to me that I stopped everything I was doing, and then I typed, "Friend," and I'm paraphrasing. "Friend, I say this with love, but are you loca?" I said, "Are you a little bit loca?" Because what I was seeing, I was like, "Oh my God, I think my friend might be a little like."
Linda, my question to you is, what does it mean when all of your friends are a little bit loca? What does that mean for you?
It means that God blessed you with someone that was sane. He said, go ahead and go to the masses and do not be like them, but be with them.
Be with them. Okay. Okay.
My love.
I'm a retired crazy person. Christina, I'm sure you're retired too.
Okay, don't talk for Christina. She is definitely not retired. She's in full crazy.
All of my
What did it,
stories are in the past.
what did it, oh no. No, nope. She's ready to 5150 it? Is that what it's called? 7150, 5150?
Baker Act, all that, yeah.
All of that. Okay, so
Who's the common denominator?
you know what, Joslo? You know what, Joslo? You've never agreed with me. But yes, I understand that I'm the common denominator. I'm not retired. I'm actively working on crazy. See, I told you.
Okay, well.
Okay, back to so April says, nah, Josh didn't need to ride back with her. I'm saying, yes, he should have. I'm waiting for you guys in the live chat and the replay to let me know. We'll do like a little poll and then we'll talk about it later. I think Josh needs to stop
Leading her on.
I
got you, Joslo.
See, I knew you. Are you actually Joslo, April? Because I noticed all of these years that Joslo tends to always be on the same page as you.
No, it's just because, in the past I was right a lot, but it's okay. You're making your way there. Yes, Jessica, it was after the blow up, after the club. I was like being facetious when I said, oh, he had to stay and like get his lies together some more. Honestly, don't think there's anything that Josh can do to make me feel like, oh, okay, he's in this relationship to really be
He's
with
not.
Natalie. Because he's not.
But the least he can do is be a gentleman. And a gentleman would make sure. You know what? Christina and Joslo. Okay.
He's not a gentleman, though.
He's not.
He has done everything possible to let Natalie know he does not want her. And still, guys, I watched a story this weekend where this girl was getting upset because this guy was ignoring her text messages. And she was about to drive over to his house. And her mom said, why? So he could ignore you in your face.
I'm just saying, it's like even I'm just saying, be a gentleman. Like, what happened to having gentlemen around? That's all. That's all. You're on a date. Make sure you take care of your date. I don't understand. Like, she goes in the cab. You didn't even hail the cab for her. You didn't even call the rideshare, the Uber, the Lyft, whatever. You're sitting on a rock like some stupid caveman that doesn't have any manners. Stop it. I'm not for it at all.
Josh said I didn't bring her here.
You guys went in a van together. She was all lovey-dovey, doe-eyed on her face and like all of that stuff. Make sure she gets home. That's all I'm saying. I'm moving on because now I'm about to go on a tangent. I could feel
it. Okay.
So Jasmine comes back in. She's like, I girl coded it. And you guys don't forget, I'll never forget that hand and ear thing. I'm going to use that one day. I don't know when, but when someone's acting crazy like Christina, I'm going to put my hand on Christina's face and be like, you're acting crazy. I know crazy. And then I'll pull her ear and then be like, are you listening?
That was actually really hilarious. Wasn't she also like stroking her hair?
Yeah.
You're being crazy, but I'm crazier.
Okay, Joslo, I am the common denominator. I admit it.
See?
So they go back inside. One of the things I thought was funny was Sophie and Rob. Last week we talked about it, how Sophie and Rob, like they bond over like mean girling the other 90-day cast members. And so Sophie's like, I can't believe Natalie was acting like that. Like, how old is she? She's like 20 years older than me. She's like 40 years older than me. 50 years older than me. This B is 93 years old. Listen, that did take me out. Like, I laughed.
That was really funny.
Yeah, I laughed. Jasmine and Gino have a sweet moment where they're actually not fighting the first time in 3 years. And Jasmine's super happy that Gino stuck up for her when she was about to fight and said, thank you for having my back. They kissed. And here's the thing that we learned about Gino. Gino actually likes it, which is what he liked when he met her, the crazy. He just doesn't like when the crazy is directed to him.
Correct.
But he literally said it turns him on when Jasmine is Jasmine the ferocious. So all that crazy energy she's having, doing all this, he actually loves that. And here's the thing, April, what you meet in the beginning and what you have years down the road, you fell for that person. That's what attracted you. You can't then turn around and complain about what you love. And then now you're admitting that you love it because it wasn't directed at you. What are your thoughts?
And that happens pretty frequently, the whole caged bird phenomenon. You want this woman who's free and fun, and then you want to bring her home and put her in a cage.
That part. Know who you fell for, know who you love, know who they are, and don't try to change them.
I made that up, by the way, guys.
They brought the crazy to the table. You said, hey, I love that about you. You can't then turn around and say, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Don't cage them, like April said.
That probably means something else, the caged bird phenomenon. I just totally made that up. I have no idea. Guys, don't.
Okay, so it's the next day. I will say this. The couple that's going to make it that is really not having any problems as far as I'm concerned is Stacey and Florian. They're there for the TV time. You can see the love in their eyes. When Florian is like, I don't like any of this because he's not about therapy, but as long as Stacey's happy, that's your dude. Okay?
Correct.
That being said, it's the next day. They're doing this sexy cellulite time. I was like, this is how you know that they've been together and he knows everything about her. Because she's made they're doing like the rub down thingamajigger, and she's like trying to be all sexy on the bed. Oh, and he's loving it and he's doing it. Meanwhile, in the back of his head, he's like, whatever makes her happy.
Right.
Which I'm about. That's what you should do. If your partner likes to play video games, learn all the video games and hang out and make them happy. If your partner likes to eat, find a spot, find a cool spot, go there and make them happy. If your partner likes to travel, surprise them with a trip. If your partner likes to get the jiggy on, make a romantic situation, whatever is romantic to you, and let that happen. But know your partner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Am I telling this story?
Yes, you are. Tell it.
I had a partner that liked kid stuff, I'll say, right? Like kid stuff, like video games and anime and all of that stuff. And so at Easter, I did like a whole Easter egg hunt, but adult version. And in the eggs, it had little oh, we're going to do this. And the next step, you're going to do this and this and this. And that shit was a hit.
That sounds awesome. And the time put into it. I also liked when we saw Stacey and Florian because we're also seeing a routine. This is clearly something that they do all routinely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it. Somebody asked, did Florian cheat? She says that he did, but I honestly don't remember it. Was it on one of the prior shows?
So we heard about that this season in episode 2. But we didn't see it in any of their seasons.
Okay, right. So we didn't actually see it, Joslo, but Stacey says that it happens. And when she says that it happens, Florian just sits there and he doesn't oppose. So I guess he did.
Probably happened. Okay, so Jasmine and Gino, they had a great night. So that translated into a great morning. They ended up sleeping in the same bed for the first time in a very long time. Jasmine says that nothing happened. It was, basically just sleeping together. I don't believe that though. I kind of think that these two are putting on a little bit of a show. But
Me too.
I do also have some news and gossip that I'm like,
I think she would say if something more happened, though. You know?
yeah, she is that type for sure. So
Hmm.
they're making progress. They feel on day 4. They didn't fight. They both went to bed together, and they had a moment on the bed where she's really talking about how, you don't think that I love you, but I love you with my heart. I don't think I've ever loved anyone as much as I love you. They kiss, they hug, and that was that. Julia and Brandon, I'm just going to tell you right now, they are not going to make it. They are not going to make it. Mark my words right now. Off screen, these two are not equally yoked. And why I say that is because Brandon, I've come to learn, is a very traditional guy, traditional values. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I too have some traditional values. However, Julia has city values. She appreciates the conservative view of things, but she also knows that, hey, I'm a woman, I'm a young woman. I am responsible for myself. I own my body, and no one can tell me anything different. I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm a grown ass woman, and I respect the hell out of that. However, put these two together, and now I know why you're having problems. First of all, dear Brandon, I need you to take your filthy whore mouth and go and ask your mom if it's okay to ever call a woman a whore, especially your wife.
Yeah.
If your mom says no, then you clearly have a problem. And your problem is that you have some insecurities, you have some jealousy issues, and you also have some stereotypes that are not true. And I want to clarify for you, just so that you can get the record straight. Your wife, who's a grown ass woman in her 30s, can wear short shorts and a backless shirt, and that has nothing to do with you. Okay? Has nothing to do with you. And short shorts and a backless shirt do not equate to whore.
No.
Okay? Now, if you're disrespecting your wife like that, can you imagine people seeing and hearing how you disrespect her, how they're going to treat her? Are you not supposed to treat your partner equally, if not better? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that you might be the problem. What do you
Yeah.
have to say, April, before I move on?
I mean, the only thing that I'm going to add is that here we are at this retreat to talk about their feelings and all these things. And we have a bunch of partners who have not even endeavored to learn their partner's language, even the basics, you know? And it's really hard to express yourself in a second language. Even like I've been learning Spanish for all these years. And when I'm feeling upset, the best word I can go to is angry, enojada. But there are so many variations of that word that means so many different things. And if someone is not able to try and halfway meet me, then how can I ever really fully express myself? You know?
That part.
So while they're saying, "Oh, I'm here to put in effort," where's your language skills?
Your language skills, your communication skills, and the name calling, I'm kind of not for it.
Yeah,
So
didn't enjoy the name calling, but it also shows a lot about who he is because he met her as a dancer. He met her doing exactly what she was doing in the bar that night, and he did not have a problem with it then when he thought he could make it be just for him, you
that
know?
part, he even,
Mm.
you nailed it right there. He said, what was the way you were dressed yesterday versus when I want to be intimate, you're not being
Right.
sexy for me. You're dressing like it's single fun. And this is what I loved about her. She said, you know what? You're my husband. You should support me. And then he said, you were dressed like a whore. And then she said, I'm your wife. You should support me. And then she said, to remind him, it's my body. I don't
Mhm.
think dancing and the way I was dressed has anything to do with the name calling that you're doing right now.
Correct. Correct. And as a contrast, we have Sophie and Rob who have their own issues, but Rob is able to see Sophie in a bit of a revealing dress and know and have confidence about himself and the relationship that he doesn't have a problem with them going out in public, even complimented her on the dress. So I don't think they're going to make it, but I do think that I have a much better impression of them as a couple than previously.
Me too, 100%. Because before they were in their honeymoon phase and everything was rosy, and now they're real lifing it, and real lifing, you're starting to see where the cracks are, and the cracks are really cracking. Jessica, I do want to address what you're saying. She said, I don't know, Linda. It was rude of him to use those words. I agree, but I think she needs to be more aware of her surrounding and think of how she may be perceived dancing on a table. I know you touched upon this last week, April, but I will say this, Jessica, you do need that one friend, one person that is going to get the party started. And I think that that's how Julia sees herself. And I know April said last week, like, perhaps that wasn't the bar to do that in, but you know what? She did get the party started, and she's with a bunch of people that have like issues, and they really can't let loose unless someone helps them get let loose. And we saw that coming up with the sex therapy. Okay, Josh is leaving for his family obligations. Before he leaves, he goes to meet up with Natalie, and this was one of my favorite moments. You could tell, because you guys, I've been doing this Korean skincare thing, and like, it's fire. That's all I can say. And I know I owe you guys a bunch of videos. Let me get through award season, and I'll be on it. That being said, she came out with the raccoon eyes, you guys. You know, when you go to bed with your makeup and you still have the mascara and eyeliner, she still had that there, but she was trying to be all fresh face, but you could tell she just like wiped down her face. But that mascara, right? You know, April, you know what I'm talking about. That mascara, you got to really like get in on there. And she did not do that. So she was looking all crazy. Like, oh, you went out last night. Then she wants to try to communicate with Josh, but Natalie, she's certified, so she's like, she calls him, "You are a low-class whore, a low-key whore, and I am afraid to be near you because I might catch something." And then I did think that Josh was pretty quick and clever on his comeback. He's like, "I'm scared to be near you because I might catch crazy," and pow. That is how they communicated. 3 years in, y'all. 3 years in. Thoughts on that, April?
She's unable to be calm and have a calm conversation, which might also be a part of her language difficulty too. But TV gold. Yes.
Oh, 100%. Listen, Natalie made for TV. Jasmine made for TV. Okay, these two, and even Gino with his like hat and like that fur patch in the back of his head, and like the sexual dysfunction, made for TV. Those are things that we can talk about all day long.
When we were talking about sexual dysfunction and Gino, you know who I thought would be a really good person to talk to him if they were ever coming back on the show again? Patrick and Thais. Because remember, Patrick was really open about his sexual issues from using steroids.
Steroids, yeah.
Like he's super, like the most honest person I've ever seen about his own sexual issues. And I feel like him and Gino could probably have a good conversation.
I dated a guy back in the day who was on steroids. And
oh dear.
He was hot, but like, the things that they say about that is true, and I am not the most patient person, and so it didn't work out. And I told him exactly why it didn't work out. And then what happened? Long story short, because I don't want to get too into it, because you know what, you guys, you know what? Now it's all making sense to me. Like, oh, Linda, like you are not stroking egos. You're like, pow, with the hammer, this. Now it makes sense. Guys don't like that. Okay. He showed up at my house like a month later, and he was like screaming for me to come out. And my mom was like, "What are you doing? This is disrespectful. I'm going to call the cops on you." And I think he was in a roid rage.
That's scary.
I was like, I can't, because, like you can't. And so like, we can't. It's terrible of me to laugh about that because it was wrong. That was a wrong way to handle situations. Everyone, don't handle situations like
You're
that.
supposed to be honest. I mean, you weren't pointing at it and laughing.
I wasn't.
So
I wasn't. But I may have been like, roll over, get dressed, don't say a word, and like never come back. I might have done that.
oh, that's not horrible. That's not horrible.
So we're in sex therapy with Reba Thomas. I would love to have her on the show. Reba, hey girl, hey. Melanated Way with me and April. Holla. We know that Natalie and Josh aren't there because Natalie's gonna do a one-on-one therapy and Josh is gone wherever he's gone. So the issue is exploring pleasure. And they're talking about sex. We know that these couples, a lot of them are not comfortable talking about sex. A lot of them have not had sex in months and years. And that is like
Blowing my mind. Yeah.
You ever had sex with your spouse in 9 to 12 months and y'all live in the same I don't know. I don't know, April. I don't know. But also I'm not married, so I don't know what that day-to-day looks like, but that just is like, whoa.
I mean, once upon a time I was married and that never happened. So I don't.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had other problems, but.
So, second question of the episode. And April, I love whatever you did. Go ahead and do that again.
Okay.
Do you feel comfortable talking about sex with your partner? Scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel comfortable talking about sex with your partner? Scale of 1 to 10. So what we learned in this episode, here's the question of the day. Question of the day, live chat, pop off, replay, pop off. April, I'll let you answer first.
Yes. Actually, I think it's a problem that I've had in the past because I think I start the conversation too early and then we get off on the wrong track. But I'm very comfortable talking about it and what I want and what I expect because I've spent way too many years having people do things that I don't like and just suffering and not benefiting from it. And I just think it's really sad that you can end up pregnant and with a baby and having actually never been satisfied in that way. So I'm very comfortable talking about what I want, what I like, what I expect. And I think that it has inadvertently caused some people to feel like I'm not looking for a relationship.
Jessica says yes. Becca says 100%. And this Joslo is just funny to me.
Have they constipated their marriage? I mean, in a way.
Violet, and yeah, in a way they have. It's constipated because they haven't had sex in 9 months. So yes, definitely constipated.
Well, Jasmine's constipated. Gino's not because apparently he's okay with his alternative methods of deconstipating.
Violet says 10 out of 10.
Good job.
Joslo's embarrassed. And
we're running with constipate Joslo.
And then, yes, but in bed. I'm going to say that I'm a 10 out of 10. I think that maybe I'm a 12 out of 10. I'm too comfortable talking about it. But growing up, it's something that I tell you guys about it. You know, the 4 things I tell you about in a relationship that are important to talk about. One of them is sex. And I continue to tell you guys that before you get into anything long-term, definitely talk about sex, how you feel about sex, how you grew up with sex, how often you want to have sex, what things you're comfortable with, what things are important to you, what things turn you on. All of those things you have to have. Listen, if you're about to get naked, you should be able to use your mouth and that's funny. Use your words to communicate the things that are important to you.
Right.
And if you can't do that, then perhaps you shouldn't be taking your clothes off with that person because you guys are not on the same page.
Right. Agree. And you
Hey,
should pop.
Rebecca. Hey, girl. Hey. I think
You should.
Rebecca's our UK girl. Is that right? Or am I
Hey,
making that
Rebecca.
up?
I
You know,
don't know.
I have a lot of clarity today, so I could be wrong.
I want to add
Um,
one thing too about talking about sex. One new thing I think that people should start talking about is your expectations for who is going to take care of preventing pregnancy, like long term. Because what's happening in my age group right now is that the women are tired of being responsible for birth control, and they're asking more men to step up and have vasectomies. Are these words I can say on YouTube? I don't know. Um, and so, like, now, I think one of the conversations you also need to have is long term, what are your expectations for birth control? Because it can have really harsh effects on your body long term. And if you're with somebody who completely refuses to have a surgical procedure that they can have, that's relatively easy, doesn't cause them any harm. That's a conflict occurring now in my age group.
yeah, what she said. I agree with that. Why is it sole responsibility, and why should it be a sole responsibility when it takes, at least two to tango? Rebecca, my bad. Washington,
But I'll
UK,
take the UK. Just
same,
go ahead and
same.
cross the border over into Canada. Just
Uh, Becca heard that there's a new birth control going up for FDA approval. Listen, there's too much going on in the world. I don't know where that lays in the list of things that are happening, but let's hope. And let's hope the men are responsible enough to take it.
yeah.
That being said, I do want to talk about how uncomfortable each of the couples are. So, April, I'm going to throw a couple at you. You're going to tell me what your impression was with
Okay.
how they handled this whole sex therapy. So, the first was Ari and Benny. They haven't had sex for a year.
This is so uncomfortable to watch because we already know that Ariella has been begging for physical affection and Benny has not been with it. He's still upset. And now he's even more upset because is this the one where she promised she was going to give the codes and she still hasn't? Or am I
Well,
remembering the wrong
she
one?
said last episode that she was going to give it, and she still hasn't had.
And she
She
still
hasn't.
hasn't.
Yeah.
So we know that he's not happy. I don't like the idea of him being forced to be physically affectionate in this kind of situation. And I don't agree with a therapist having them do this kind of activity where he feels powerless. He doesn't feel like he's free to give his real response or his real feeling. And in my opinion, I don't think that he feels free because he's still like operating under Ariella's thumb.
I'm stuck with these two. I don't know how I feel. I do agree with you, April, but then I don't agree with you because I feel like he takes every opportunity to belittle her. And when she was like showing the zones that she knows that he likes, and he was literally taking a tissue and wiping it away like he was completely grossed out. I don't know if that has to do what you're saying, where it's the control thing, which I also struggle to because I talk about the whole colonizer vibe, but at the same time, I do know that he has another woman, and so like maybe his mindset is already there and he's checked out, and that's why he's grossed out by this
That's
because he
possible.
also hasn't gotten the things that he wanted. So he came to this therapy to get like his passcodes and his social media so that he can make money, and so I don't know where I stand with these two yet. I'm still like,
I would never. Okay, let's say I hope I would never, because I do have crazy tendencies. I hope I would never be in a situation where I'm on TV begging for somebody to give me some physical affection. Dear God.
Hey, Renee. Yeah, Benny is no victim, she's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm on the fence with this because of everything I just said. So next, Stacy
Okay.
and Florian.
They're hilarious. Love them. Next.
Love them. No issues.
No
They
issue.
were on it. She was tickled. He's like, man, this is stupid, but I'm gonna do it because guess what? It makes Stacy smile.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon and Julia.
Okay, so what was annoying me about them is that Brandon hasn't bothered to ask, what can I do to make you want to be intimate with me. It's just, when are you going to have sex with me? When are you going to have sex with me? When are you going to have sex with me? Okay.
I didn't realize you were done. I feel
Done.
like it was weird because you all have been married for a few years now, and I was watching you lay on that bench thing, and you guys were sitting like you were like coworkers, and it was weird to me. Like there was no sense of intimacy. And then the fact, Brandon, that your wife doesn't want to have sex with you because she is not equating sex with intimacy now. She's correlating it. Did I say that right?
Yeah, correlating it.
Yeah, she's correlating it with reproducing.
Inflating? Yes. Also
And so that's not sexy to her anymore. And the way that you continue to pressure her, just like April has said in the last 3 episodes, you cannot force someone to have a baby. And nor do you ever want to have a baby to just keep your relationship together.
And where's the foreplay? Sorry. Is that outburst? There's no foreplay.
I was trying to be serious and get your serious points across when you're like, don't bring a baby into this world if you all don't really want to have a baby. And you're a woman, it's your body, your choice. And the fact that you can't have a baby because a baby's for the rest of your life. I'm still someone's baby. And when I call my mama, and mama, pay attention right now, Mama Linda. When I call you and you send me the voicemail, I know. Technology is that good.
She's not sending you a voicemail.
She sends me the voicemail all the time. Or she'll tell me, you know how it pre-types, I'm busy, can I call you back? She'll hit that. And then I will respond, what are you busy doing?
That one is deliberate. I'm sorry, Mama Linda.
I'm at church. What church do you go to at 10:30 on a Wednesday? Anyways, don't get me started on Mama Linda.
Yeah. So also, like, I don't feel like Brandon is really seducing Julia either. But you know what? That's what happens when you're sneaking around having sex in your parents' house.
That part. Because
you're not developing your own rhyme and rhythm. My mom ain't got no life. I don't know about who said that. Mama's got a life. Rebecca. My mom ain't got no life. She don't got nothing to do but answer my phone calls.
Your life is your children. You give it up after that. And when I say it's for life, it's for life. Like you think 18, Americans always say 18, which is fascinating to me. You haven't gotten even 1/3 of your life together at 18. Your child is for life. You could be 20, you could be 40, you could be 50, you could be 60, you could be 100. That is your baby for life.
Yeah, we went to Antarctica last year.
Radella said, leave Mama Linda alone.
Leave Mama Linda alone. Like, leave Brittany alone. Listen, I went to Antarctica last year, and every single day my mom asked my sister, is she back yet? Is she back yet? Is she back yet? She hated it. That's what mom life is like.
Listen, you're 24/7. You signed up for it, so.
Yeah, don't have kids on a whim.
All I'm saying is like, you signed up for it. It's 24/7 forever. Not till 18, not to 20, to 25. It's forever.
And why doesn't somebody ask him, like when they're having the conversations about how he wants a baby, I haven't heard anybody ask him, why? Why do you want a baby? Let's start asking why. What do you envision as your life with a child? How do you envision the day to go? What kind of help are you willing to provide? Physically, financially, emotionally, everything. Like make him run through that analysis.
And then go talk to his parents.
Yeah, have more people. I'm inspired by the people who truly ask themselves before they have kids, why do I want to do this?
It's a checkbox.
It's a checkbox. It's just a checkbox for a lot of people, but you don't have to. You can lead a fulfilling life without having children. You don't have to do it. Everybody's not cut out to be a parent.
Facts. Renee said, my baby is 33 years old and yes, parent for life. Yes, Yes, Renee. Yes, girl. Yes. Your
Yeah.
baby's in my age bracket. And all I can say is yes, girl. Make sure you're picking up your baby's phone calls, Mama Linda.
Okay, who's next?
And you know what? Just one more thing.
Oh,
Mama
okay.
Linda, when you say I'll call you right back, I mean, I'm not trying to wait like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours over the next day. Like, call me right back means like I'm gonna call you right back. So let's work on that too. All right, Jasmine and Gino.
I really hate this for Jasmine. He clearly just wants to do this activity by himself.
I mean, I thought they were kind of getting it in, were they not? With the XX, and he had his like legs up over.
I
She had her
mean,
legs up over his shoulder.
this goes to the idea that he just wants to be like make this certain kind of impression on the guys. Because what was that doing actually for Jasmine?
Yeah. So again, Gino has some sexual dysfunctions, and part of it is his addiction to watching specific type of videos. And I think that he thought he was putting on a show because that's what it's ingrained in him, right? So it's ingrained in him. This
Exactly.
is going to be sexy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he may not necessarily be doing anything for Jasmine and really pleasing her, but he's doing what he is mimicking because he's addicted to
Correct.
watching those things. And because I'm on a TED Talk right now, I will say this, that's a lot of sexual dysfunction comes from watching too many of those videos, men and women. So
I agree.
you have not been taught the basics of intimacy, but then you go and watch these videos, and these videos are exaggerated for clicks and views, and you think that these are the things that you're supposed to do. And it's not a cookie cutter answer because
Mhm.
each individual is different. And if you don't take the time to communicate what you like and what you don't like, then that's the problem. And I want to speak to us women specifically because we've been taught to be passive in this situation and all that. Go ahead and tell your partner what you like and what you don't like. And don't just hang out and accept what they're doing because that's what they want to do. It's your body, it's your choice, and you're allowed to feel pleasure as well. And so, but you have to communicate that. Okay, that's it.
I want to share something with you ladies too.
Go ahead and share.
Ask if you're dating someone who is a watcher of these things, ask them to send you their favorites. Take a look at their favorites and see if it raises any concerns for you. And you're not just looking at what kind of activities are being done, you're looking at the people who are involved, the background, the setting, consensual, not consensual, seemingly. Like, is there a hint of aggression? What is the person wearing? Is it adult clothing, or is there a hint of youngish clothing? You're looking for all of that stuff. Okay. It'll tell you a lot. Don't tell them why you're asking. You'll see a lot.
I love that idea. That's really great advice. Becca also says, and women are often not treated well in those type of videos as well. Facts.
Facts.
Last but not least, Sophie and Rob, thoughts.
Okay, so this is the first time that I started thinking about Sophie being bisexual again. She seems incredibly uncomfortable, and maybe a part of the discomfort is what she said, that she just doesn't like doing that kind of stuff in public. That might be a part of the discomfort, but there could have been a way around that. She could have said, hey, we're going to step off to the side to finish this activity. You know, there could have been a way around, I don't want to do this in front of the camera, or I don't want to do this in front of other people. But now I started thinking about, is she perhaps just not comfortable with the male body?
Those are all very valid and good questions. I personally took a completely different approach. I was like, this girl's a prude and she's young and not comfortable with herself. And Sophie, I love you, but I feel like you need to spend time with your own body and understand what your body is capable of and what you like and what you don't like. Because what is interesting to me, and again, you guys, clarity today, um, is the fact that if you knew your body and you knew what you liked, then you would be okay with exploring someone else's body because you would know what makes you comfortable, what doesn't make you comfortable, and the things that you want to try to explore. And then you would communicate, because Rob was communicating, and the way you were like, oh, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And he was feeling rejected. I understand that from him, because the way you were coming off wasn't like, hey, I'm shy, I don't want to do this, even though I'm sure that that's part of it because you don't know your body and you're young. But the second it came across like, ooh, I'm repulsed by you and I don't want to do this. And so I encourage, again, use your words and communicate with your partner on the things that you like and you don't like. And being out there with another group of people that you just met, I get that you may not be comfortable and you might be a private person behind closed doors and a bed and like everything traditional. I get that, and that's okay, but communicate that. Like April said, go and be like, I'm not comfortable doing this in a group setting, but like, let's take it over there, and I'm willing to do this exercise to its entirety. But when you're like, oh, I'm not doing that, oh, I'm not, it just, to me, it screamed immaturity, and it screamed like lack of knowing who you are and what you want as a female and being a sexual being.
Right. I thought Rob was communicating his feelings really, really well, but I also thought that Rob could have offered some solutions too. He could have said, "Okay, yeah, I'm feeling rejection. This is not feeling great for me. But what can I do? Like maybe you can just tickle me. Maybe you can just put your finger around instead of your tongue." Like he wasn't. He kind of just did like this and was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore." She said she's grossed out by male nipples. Yeah,
Christina
she wants some meat behind it.
Christina is saying April spot on, but we're not surprised by that. Y'all always agree with April. But I will say, Renee, you will never, not ever, never, ever, never, ever be free and clear.
Never.
Rewind what I said earlier. It's for life.
Yeah, Becca, you're absolutely correct. I don't remember if Rob is the only child or not. He acts like an only child when he's having feelings. He can't understand other people are having feelings too. Yeah. That's actually hard for a lot of people, to be honest. That's hard for a lot of people. Even me, I have sisters, and sometimes I just don't like I will cognitively be aware of their having a feeling while I am. I just simply think mine's more important.
Well, because we're selfish beings, right? I do want to talk about Natalie a little bit. And the game. So we have a couple of things to get through. We're getting a little long.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We are long-winded. No, we are. Natalie reaches out to the therapist for a one-on-one, and she tells him how she had an emotional breakdown. And I felt for Natalie in this moment, which I normally can't say that I would, but she seemed like a wounded bird. Like it was a lot of pain, and she talked about how she screwed up when she lashed out and said some not nice things to Josh. We find out that she was bullied as a kid and the girls didn't like her and they teased her. And she's always felt that she's not been good enough, which ding, ding, ding makes a lot of sense with her mean girl behaviors, mimicking what she has gone through because no one corrected that behavior. Oh my God, I am talking like a therapist. She feels like she doesn't deserve to be loved. And we see that a lot, and look at her history with her 3 failed marriages and now clinging on to a relationship that's 3 years long, but she's never been to his home. So we look at that. And she feels less than, right? Which is why she's always comparing herself to who she deems as a pretty woman, right? And she feels jealousy and she starts to have animosity and friction with that person. So I felt for her in those moments and I was like, hey, these are all valid things. However, I think it as an adult, if you can recognize that those are your childhood traumas, it's your responsibility as adult to heal those traumas and whatever that looks like for you, whether that's therapy or speaking to a pastor or your best friend or whatever, work or self-help groups or whatever. It's your responsibility to work through that. It's no one else's responsibility but your own. You're an adult now. Now, I felt for her in that moment. And then April, when she did her one-on-one, and then she was like, well, I don't want to really apologize because I don't care what those bees think. I was like, there it is.
Yeah. So I actually did not feel sorry for her when she was saying all that stuff about being bullied when she was younger, because like some people tell the story of being bullied when they were younger, and it's because they were the initial bully. You were just getting back what you put out into the atmosphere. And I can see her being a dick as a child.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you have to, if you're being bullied as a child, you really need to take stock. When you look back on it, you're an adult now, look back on it. Did you do something to cause those children to respond to you that way? Maybe the answer is no, but you ask yourself the real question. Were you being weird first? Right? Because sometimes you were.
The way Christina is agreeing with you this episode is just, I'm rolling my eyes. Go ahead and hit 1-800 call April next time. Okay? Just joking.
Because look at the way she came in the session all wounded bird and woe is me.
Yeah.
But then like she ends it by saying, I'm still not going to apologize. I'm still going to make it right. So like I imagine perhaps that's what she was as a child. She'd go out and tell somebody, you're ugly, your mom hates you. And then when they throw a rock at her, she's like, oh, they're bullying me. They threw a rock at me.
Hey girl, hey Lori, hey.
Hi, Lori Stories and Crochet.
I love it. And you know what? Let me be in my business for a second. A friend of mine, okay, can I get it without getting all weird? Okay, a friend of mine is super talented. She's like a super crafter in Canada. Like, y'all, next time I go back, I'm going to have to feature her because she's a super crafter. So anyway, she was showing me these blankets that she makes. And she crochets. She's one of those, like, she can crochet with her hands. And I'm going to try to show you, like, part of the blanket. It's like a queen size blanket that she made in 4 hours, you guys. I had to buy a new suitcase so that I could bring it home. But this shit is so warm. It's so comfy. It's like my therapy blanket.
It looks
amazing.
beautiful.
That all being said, I absolutely agree that self-reflection is necessary. And if you don't have the tools and ability to do that, then you definitely want to figure out how you can. I've been lurking for a while.
It's okay, lurking Lori.
That took me out. Lori, that took me out. I love it. Do you crochet, by the way? Big, huge yarn you can hand crochet quickly. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. I'm totally getting off topic, but Lori, let me tell you, it's my favorite blanket. I want her to make blankets for everyone. Just like I'm like stuck on Korean skincare, I'm stuck on these crochet blankets. Okay, last but not least, April.
Yes.
They do the 2 questions, and you guys, we're family here. We're going to answer these questions. So this is the 4th question of the day, April.
Okay.
4th question of the day. Oh, this is the wrong paper. This is could you feel open about telling your partner the dirtiest thing that you would like to do together? Would you feel comfortable telling your partner the dirtiest thing you want to do together? We're family here. Let's talk about it.
My answer is yes.
April's did not even have. I didn't even get the question up, and April was like, "Answered." Christina says, "Yup."
Yep, Christina. I'm waiting on Renee's answer.
I'm waiting on Lori's answer, the lurker in the back. I'm gonna say, well, you guys already know that I'm a yay. Rebecca says yes as well. Good. So you guys are communicators. That's really, really
Good.
important. Really,
Yes,
really important. And
Jessica.
guess what? It's the pleasure principle, and it's the fact that you guys feel safe with your partner, and that to me is so special. Jessica says, yes, girl, yes. And Lori says, my partner's fantastic, so yes, no previous partners would be a yes.
Good
Okay,
for
great,
you.
you guys.
Love that growth, Lori.
Okay. Last question of the day and last question of the episode. Oh, okay, Joslo. I see you, Joslo. Joslo. Joslo is a yes. You know what? We should have her on the show one day.
Yes.
Joslo's a day one, and she makes me happy, even though she never agrees with me. Last question of the day. And it's really kind of open, and I'm doing it this way because it was interpreted that way on this episode. Could you or would you invite a third party into your relationship? Now that can be taken a couple of ways, and we can talk about that. But and they left it vaguely open because of it. So last question of the day, question number 5. Could you or would you invite a third party into your relationship?
Nope. Christina, no.
Christina, question wasn't even up, and Christina's like, nope.
Jessica said,
hell
to the no.
Becca says, no.
No. So I've never done that, but I've been a part of an open relationship. Is that the same thing? No, that's not the same thing. It starts with polyamory. Yeah. I'm not polyamorous, but I've been a partner of somebody who was polyamorous. And it was just easy because I don't want to spend but judges with those, because I don't like to spend every single day with somebody. And so I thought it would be an easy arrangement. This person is already busy. They don't have a lot of time. Right? It didn't work out like that.
I'm gonna share a story with you, and I have so many. I should write a book. Okay, so there's a show on TLC that we all are familiar with that kind of touches upon this topic, and one of the cast members reached out to me, and there was some banter, yada yada. We've done a ton of interviews with those cast members as well, and I had posted something on social media. That person responded and was like, hey, like, I don't know if I'm taking this wrong way, but I feel like we're vibing. Like, would you ever be interested? And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, am I giving that vibe off? No. My answer is no. I don't share. I don't like to share. I'm not a jealous type, but I think that in that type of situation, I would be. Like whoever said hell to the nah, like no. But it was interesting that that person thought that I would be open to a polyamorous relationship. I was like, fool, I can't even find the one. Why am I dealing with two? Like, no, thank you. How does that even work? And I say this, you all have alternate days. The way I live, like every day is like a surprise. I can't wait for like, oh, today's not my day. No, I'm gonna need you immediately.
Yeah.
And then you throw in like the intimate time. Oh no. Like, I have questions. Like, are y'all like do y'all go to the doctor together and be like, we have a clean bill of health, and then like what are the questions? And like, who has the babies? And like, if you're like the second mom that didn't carry the baby, are you equally involved? Like, no.
So it's not like in polygamous relationships, you're involved with each other's lives in that way. But in polyamory, you really don't have to be. It's just discreet. I was hoping you'd say it was. Why? Why would you hope for Drake?
Because I love Drake. Drake is my baby daddy. Now, if Drake said, no, just joking. Still
no,
no.
let me tell you who I would say yes to. Yes, all day, every day. You know who it is.
I remember sister, wife, seeking, et cetera, when that happened to you. Okay, well, Christina, you keep your mouth shut because, you know, you talk, I talk.
Jadena.
Oh, I already know.
You knew. I was going to say Jadena.
I'm going to help you meet him.
Please. I would love to.
I'm going to help you meet him. Mine was a drunk night with tequila at Fuddruckers, and things happened with, Joslo.
Wow.
Go ahead, April and Joslo, with your little side stuff. I see you now. That's it. That's all we got. It's been a great episode, you guys, and we love you. Make sure to like and subscribe to my page, April's page. If you guys aren't sick of us, we're heading over to TikTok for 10 minutes for a quick TikTok-y recap. And April's going to save it this time. And we'll see you. I was asked to be a second wife. See, all these lurkers over here. Hi, 1,000 Pieces. Why are you now telling us this as we're signing off? I'm going to remember this for next week. We'll talk about it.
Yes, more talk about that 1,000 Pieces. Come back.
All right, you guys. Oh, April, what's your TikTok?
TikTok is Abby the Attorney. Abby the Attorney. Come hang out with us on TikTok.
All right, see you guys in a few minutes. If not, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.